Hello, it's Ekanem, the podcast host of The Elegance of Souls and your host on this channel. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button so that you can get more videos like this one. Thank you so much for stopping by. I dropped a podcast over the weekend and it was an amazing conversation with Marija Olyver, and we talked about her own journey just overcoming bulimia and bullying, and it was so inspiring. Marija is such a brave and generous soul, and I've been fortunate to collide with her on my own journey of self-discovery, and I'm hoping that our conversation inspires you on yours. We obviously talked about some of the challenges that she experienced and how she overcame that by standing on the truth of her identity in Christ. And I think identity is something that we overlook so much in our society today, not realizing or sometimes forgetting that it is foundational to the family. It is foundational to cities. It is foundational to nations. We find identity in, community, in groups of people. It gives us that sense of belonging. Identity would not be possible if you were the only one on earth. I mean, there would be nothing for you to identify with because you're alone, you're on your own, you're isolated, nobody else. And so identity becomes a necessity because of all the other people that exist on the planet with us. And it is such a treasure to know that we are indeed unique. Out of the billions of humans that live on the face of the earth, no one of us has the same fingerprint. We are all uniquely designed. We all have specific purpose, specific desires, and things that drive us, and things that we yearn for, things that inspire us, and things that we aspire to. It is because of the unique identity that we have been given by the one who has crafted us so beautifully and so fearfully. So it was truly inspiring to have this conversation with Marija about how she found that her identity again by affirming herself with the truth. And it's something I talk about as well in my book, The Painted Flawless Manual, owning our identity. And again, just in case you're wondering why identity is so important, I'm gonna share something with you that I gleaned from a message a couple of weeks ago from a very inspirational preacher. And she said in her message, she said, authority is based on identity. Authority is based on position, not perfection. Authority is like a muscle. It grows stronger with use. So having said that, I want you to think again about the importance of identity. So here she's saying we can't wield any authority without our identity. We cannot, demonstrate authority if we do not know our position. Identity is about understanding your position, where you're supposed to stand, what you're supposed to do. Identity gives you that fuel, And then she says authority is like a muscle. It grows stronger with use. If we are not clear about our identity, it's hard for us to wield authority. It's hard for us to even grow stronger and therefore demonstrate more power wherever we find ourselves. It's hard for us to be impactful on the earth. So identity is definitely a beginning point on this journey of self-discovery, right? I mean, feel free to drop comments in the chat and share with us what you're thinking about in the space of identity right now. I also noted that some people have their identity but not the ability to exercise authority. So sometimes we might struggle again with exercising authority where we've come to know what identity might be. And I think it goes back to that sense of belonging and being in the right circle of people that allow that authority to come out, to be demonstrated as it should be. Some of the things I touch on in my book that help us to own our identity are, number one, I've mentioned affirming ourselves with the words, with the truth. It's very important. You speak to yourself, you say, what you are, what the truth is. You are beautiful. You have been fearfully made. You have a purpose. You have ability. You have skill. You have gifts. You have talents to use. You are loved. You are definitely a treasured possession. That there is no one like you on the face of the earth, and you are able to do so many more things than you could even imagine. So speak the truth to yourself. If you need to journal it down, write it down and speak it to yourself every day. Have a list of declarations that you speak over yourself every day. You can even make it your own personal creed. You might even believe things about yourself that are not yet manifest, but somewhere inside of you that this is something that will happen, that is possible. You just have a sense of it. You can't explain it. Write it down and begin to speak that thing over yourself. It's all part of building your identity. It's all part of beginning to walk in the authority of who you've been called to be and the places that you are being called to go to. Number two is our passions. Passions are a significant part of who we are. I said at the beginning of this video that no single person has the same fingerprint. Why? Because even the beat of our heart is unique to our Creator. The sound of our voice is unique to Him. I think of my own father here on earth right now. When we call him on the phone, he immediately knows who he's speaking to. Without telling him it's Ekanem on the phone or it's my sister or my brother on the phone, he knows who is speaking. Why? Because he knows the sound of our voice, So it's very similar with the one who has created us. He has created us uniquely for a reason. And there are things that our heart is drawn to. They are things that we naturally desire because we have been created. There's been a deposit made to be drawn to those things, to seek after those things, to be curious about those things, to have a heightened sense of interest or excitement when those things are being talked about. That's passion, and that is what forges some of your unique identity on the earth. The third thing is your core values. Core values are one of those things I believe are forged in crucible moments. Crucible moments are like a compressor pot or a pressure pot. When I was young, my mom had this really big, pressure cooker that she used to cook meat, and it was made in such a way to increase the amount of heat that would cook the meat in a very short period of time. It was this big, it's like this huge pot. You had to close it and then fasten it up just to keep the heat in there so that it couldn't escape. And I want you to think of crucible moments as those sorts of moments where you're under significant pressure, almost like a moment that could lead to huge explosion, but there's some overriding values in you. There's some things that ground you in that moment. There's some things that you will not compromise on, no matter how pressured the situation is. Those crucible moments reveal to you the things that are most important to you. It could be your family. It could be, your sense of loyalty. It could be your generous spirit. It could be anything that you can think of that drives a decision process, that is fundamental to a decision process, that is behind the motive, or that is the motive for something. These are core values, and they are all different for everyone. What might be important to one person might not be important to another person. And these core values also play a significant role in defining our identity, in helping us own our person, who we are, and our unique journey. I've just shared 3 amazing tips on how you can own your identity a bit more, and I hope that is going to bless you on your unique journey to you.